Hey guys, what's going on? Dave Days here. Super excited to have you in my free 4-video series. Now before we jump into these lessons, I want to say make sure you're focused and paying attention to each of these videos. I have a worksheet down below that you can fill out during certain parts that will help you make the most of each video. Because what you learn in these videos is gonna totally change the way you think about the music industry today and how you should approach it to really crush it. Now these videos are only gonna be available for the next week or so make sure you watch each of them start to finish. And if you have any questions as you're going through the lessons, having trouble on something, whatever it might be, just leave a comment below. I read all of them, I'll be responding, or reach out to me at dave@davedays.com so you can hit me up personally. All right, let's jump right into it. A couple years ago, I was living in my basement in Pennsylvania, where I'd write my own music, try to produce my songs as best as I could, put them online, and even play shows around the local area, hoping people liked what they heard and became fans. Ever since I was young and first got into music, I've always wanted to be a successful musician, but never really knew where to start. And in the beginning, my songs weren't the best out there, my productions didn't sound like songs on the radio. When I'd play shows live, there weren't that many people there, and when I put songs online, nobody really seemed to care. I remember sending my music to labels with hopes that they would hear it, sign me, and I'd blow up overnight, but that wasn't the case. Seeing other artists around me getting successful made me feel hopeless, like, why are they getting successful and I'm not? Is there something wrong with me? It made me feel really doubtful in myself, and I would question if I was even meant to be a musician at all. Now around this time, I was in school and it was coming to an end, so I had to make a decision. Should I stop focusing on music and get a job somewhere I'd probably end up hating? Or should I continue making music even though nothing was really happening? It was in that moment where I really thought to myself, what do I really want? What kind of life do I want to live? Do I really want to give up on this and have to live with the regret of not trying? Like, I knew I wasn't the best out there, but I was practicing every day, putting in the work, and I knew I had the drive to do whatever it took to become successful. It was right there in that moment when I decided, I'm not just gonna give up and pursue a job or a career that I don't even want. I'm gonna fully commit my time and my energy to figuring out how to make this work and become successful. And that's when everything changed. I started learning, bettering my skills, putting myself out there, online, out there in any way I could to get people to notice me. And I was doing this all from my basement with my computer, with some basic recording software and basic knowledge on how to do anything, like make videos, what? I just immersed myself with these new tools in this new world, and the more I started creating and putting things out there online, the more people started to take notice. And trust me, the first videos I put out weren't that amazing. I mean, look at this, like what am I even doing? But as time went on and I kept doing more and more and really taking action, I started getting better at songwriting, my music production started sounding way better, I started growing a following of people who wanted more. They wanted to hear more of my music, see more of my videos. For once in my life, it really felt that everything I did in the past and all the dreams I had of being a musician were real. The more action I took in bettering myself and just getting myself out there without overthinking things was when success just started to follow, as a result of me just being me and making the music and videos I love. And I remember hitting a point after putting in a certain amount of work where opportunities just started falling into my lap. Celebrities I would only see on TV, heroes of mine I would watch and listen to growing up, saw that I was just doing my thing and growing my following, they would reach out to collab with me. They wanted in on what I was doing, on what I've built. Like, what is happening? My friends back home in college and my parents were like, I mean, we know you moved out to California and decided to pursue your dreams or whatever, but wow. And trust me, I was thinking the same thing. I mean, from making videos in my basement to being out in California working with celebrities, like what is my life? But what was honestly even cooler than meeting the celebrities and my heroes was playing shows. Playing shows for people who were fans of me and my music and what I've been creating online. There's no better feeling than seeing your fans singing your lyrics that you wrote right back at you at your own concert. And while I was doing all this stuff, I was making money too. People started buying my music, streaming my music, wearing my merch. Household brands would reach out and pay me to promote their products in my videos. And I know a lot of you are probably thinking like, yeah, but are you actually like able to make a living doing this kind of stuff? Well, with all these different revenue streams adding up, yeah. And to really pull the curtain back and let you guys into my world, some of these brands have paid me up to $50,000 for a single video to promote their products. No joke. And I did all of this independently, without a label, without a manager, without anyone telling me what to do or how to live my life. I did it all on my own terms, by learning each day, bettering myself, and really figuring out the strategies that work best to become successful as an independent musician. And speaking of record labels, major labels were paying me to promote their artists' music. Let me just tell you from firsthand experience, things have changed. The music industry has been flipped on top of its head because of the internet. And there is no better time to be an independent musician than right now. I mean, look at me. I'm an introverted kid from a suburb in Pennsylvania. I'm not some like handsome, glamorous pop star or even the best musician out there, but I did it. And if this can happen to me, trust me, with the right work, this can happen to you too. If you're able to understand what I'm about to teach you, as well as implement the strategies that I'm about to show you, then there's absolutely no reason why you won't be successful in your music career. These strategies are the same strategies I've used and still use today. Because of how new and fast the internet's changing, most people don't even know these strategies exist. So if you can take advantage of them now, you will be way ahead of everybody else. There's no other place right now teaching what I'm about to teach you. You're right on time, and you have an amazing opportunity to crush it. Let's first talk about the old model for a second to see how things have changed. Now, the old model, before the rise of the internet and the digital revolution, you had to go through a record label in order to reach your potential fans, because the record labels had all the power and all the connections. They managed all the big budgets, they had all the relationships to radio. To get your music distributed into stores or anywhere, you had to go through a label, TV, movie placements, everything involved in getting your music out there in its max capacity, you had to go through a record label. So back in the day, whoever the label signed and then fed through the machine was who the fans heard, which was what pop music was, like Britney Spears, NSYNC, all these manufactured artists just running through the machine, being in front of your face 24/7 on the radio all the time. That's what music was. And that made it really hard for independent musicians to succeed, because without a label, these independent musicians did not stand a chance against the musicians who were signed to major labels. The most you could really succeed is you could, build a following in your town, and that's about it. So it was really hard to reach a global audience and really find your fans unless you were signed to a label. But with the rise of the internet and digital technology, now there are so many different online platforms that anybody with basic equipment, a cell phone, a laptop, can put their music, their videos online and reach a global audience. They can release their music, their videos to online platforms like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud. They can easily upload their music and get it distributed to stores worldwide online through places like TuneCore, DistroKid, which put their songs on Spotify and iTunes. And there's constantly new platforms and new apps that come up and create even more successful independent musicians. Now, this is amazing news for us independent musicians, because now every musician can be successful. Because with the internet and all these different platforms and blogs, there are communities of people who love specific genres of music, love specific things that you can now find and make your fans. These pockets of fans are your potential true fans that'll be the ones who love the music and the videos you make and keep buying from you, going to your shows. But all it really takes is 1,000 true fans to be a successful independent artist. Why is this? Well, imagine you put out an album every year and say it was $10 and each of those fans purchased it. Right there, you've made $10,000. And say every couple months you come out with a new t-shirt for $20. So if you have 4 different t-shirts a year at $20, that's $80 per fan. And then 1,000 times 80 is $80,000. And that's only one way to make money, is through merch. That doesn't include streaming, iTunes sales, tickets, brand deals, affiliate links. There's a lot of different ways you can monetize. So how do we find these 1,000 true fans? Well, the first thing we need to really build is your foundation. If you build a house and you don't have a solid foundation, the house is just going to tumble. It's really important that you understand your foundation right now so you can really optimize your success from the beginning. And in order to do that, we need to understand your pocket of fans, your 1,000 true fans, or your 10,000 or 100,000 fans, by understanding your niche. The adjective definition of niche is denoting or relating to products, services, or interests that appeal to a small, specialized section of the population. Let me show you a couple examples so you can really understand why picking your niche ahead of time is super crucial for your success. So here's me, Dave Days, My niche, you could say, is pop punk rock comedy, because I do a lot of pop punk style originals, covers. I've done some parodies that are still pop punk, so kind of pop punk rock comedy. I focus on pop punk and rock, it's because those are my strengths. It's what I grew up with, I'm passionate about it. I also like comedy, I like making people laugh with music, and because of that, with consistent posting, making pop punk videos, comedic videos, I now have over 1.5 million subscribers, 400 million views, blah blah blah. But let's check out another one. Here we have Postmodern Jukebox.
Could finally fix me. I've been looking at my history.
So this is kind of a different one, but it gives you a great understanding of how this can work. Postmodern Jukebox's niche is big band, swing, and jazz. Like music from the 60s and the 50s, like Sinatra style. They'll take pop songs and make them big band, swing, and jazz style. And they were one of the only groups doing this, and because of that, they built a huge following and had huge success. 3.5 million subscribers, over 1 billion YouTube views, they tour all the time now. And with the internet, this left a huge impact on the younger, newer generations, because now those people are seeing this big band, swing, jazz music, and now it's more relevant. So not only can you be successful in your niche, but you can also inspire a lot of younger kids to look up to you. Another cool example is Lindsey Stirling. She's a violin player that infused violin music with dance music, and she also dances too. By focusing her music and her videos strictly on violin, she doesn't even sing in the videos, they're just violin instrumentals for the most part. And by honing in on her strengths and her passions, which were violin and dance, she now has over 10 million subscribers, over 2 billion total views. She's won multiple awards, one of them being a Billboard award. She's released her own book and autobiography, and has been on countless TV shows like Conan, Kimmel, the list keeps going. You see where we're going with this? One last example for all you acoustic musicians is Boyce Avenue.
Just kiss me slow, your heart is whole,
Their niche is acoustic and singer-songwriter. They do covers of popular songs in a very coffeehouse acoustic type vibe, and these people by far are probably the biggest in this genre, but there's all kinds of artists who do acoustic music that are crushing it. But Boyce Avenue is one of the very first ones, and they have over 11 million subscribers, over 4 billion total views, over 5 million monthly Spotify listeners, and frequent song placements. I went to this one Thai restaurant one time, and they were just playing a Boyce Avenue playlist, no joke. Picking your niche and what you're passionate about not only can build you a huge fan base and a successful career as a musician, but it can also inspire younger generations below us who are growing up online, watching videos, and hearing music. Once you find your niche and you start building your audience around that, that's when you can start promoting your original music, your tours, you can start monetizing with merch, working with other label artists or labels who will pay you to promote their music. The sky is truly the limit, but in order to maximize your success, you really need to build your foundation and understand your niche. Time to find our niche. Alright, now let's pull up the niche questionnaire worksheet below. Okay, so first question. What artists did you listen to growing up? Which left the biggest mark on your inspiration and motivation? So you might be surprised. Like, you might listen to a lot of different music now, but the truth could be like the stuff that you first listened to might be what you're actually really passionate about and really talented in. Some of the first songs I listened to growing up were like Hanson, MMMBop. I was like obsessed with Hanson. But then it wasn't until I heard bands like Blink, Green Day, and all them that really got me into guitar and wanting to start bands, wanting to play shows, wanting to be a successful musician. Alright, now what artists do you listen to now? Like for me, I listen to like a lot of hip hop now, pop punk here and there, a lot of more chill kind of indie music. But I know for me, like pop punk, I've been producing it for a while. I love it. It's easy for me. Like I enjoy it. It's like second nature for me. So what do you listen to now? Put some of those down. And what instruments are you best at? You know, what instruments are you really good at? Are you a singer? Are you a guitarist? Because say you're not a singer and you're in a band and you're just a guitarist, you know, that's awesome. There are channels on YouTube that are just guitar players. You could build all kinds of content just around guitar, not even just your original music or your band, you know. So write down what instruments you're best at. You don't need to overthink this too much. Just write down what you're good at. Now the next one. What genre of music are you most passionate about? So what music do you love, and if you had to make one type of music for, say, the rest of your life? Not saying you need to stick with this niche forever. You can branch off while keeping, you know, staying true to some elements. But imagine you had to pick one genre right now for the rest of your life. what would that be? What are you good at? What are you most passionate about? Now, this question's more about your personality, but what emotion and vibe is your personality that can be translated into your music? And not just your music, your videos. Are you like a fun, silly person? Are you more serious and analytical? Because all music has a personality, and with your videos, you're going to start talking to the camera a little bit more. You're going to have your personality in there. And if you're having trouble with any of these questions, like you're not sure what your talents are, or like what you are most passionate about, you can ask your family or friends. You could ask them, hey Chris, like what is my personality? Am I serious? Am I funny? Am I a weirdo? Just kind of get some notes and write them down, because your personality is a big part of your brand, whether you think it or not. It's not just your music. Which artists and influencers could be considered competitors in your niche? Or like, what would your fans also be listening to and watching? So think about the genre you're kind of aiming towards right now and the kind of vibe. Like, who else is similar to you? For me, pop punk wise, I could see like a Blink-182, a Green Day. If we're thinking even younger, more like a Neck Deep, State Champs. And in terms of influencers, like what people on YouTube could be similar to you? Or like what people on YouTube do you like watching that you want to be like? Like for example, like I make some parody music. You could say Bart Baker, but his are like so intense and extreme. That's like his main focus, and he's crushing it. But in the music world, there's like Jared Dines. He's a guitar player. There's several guitar players that I see their content and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. There's one guy named Rumi. He makes videos like how to make a song in under an hour. That whole genre. Like I like that stuff. Like I want to make more of that stuff, and I'm gonna make more of it. So I would write those people down. So now you have an idea of some bands that you are similar to, that your fans might also like, and you also have some YouTubers, some influencers that you might also want to be like, that essentially are your competitors. But with all the tactics we're going to learn, we're going to be able to make high quality music and content and crush it. Alright, now that you're thinking more about your fans and what they might listen to or watch, what types of stores or types of products do your fans use? So now that we're painting a better picture in our brain of your genre, your vibe, you're probably getting a lot of ideas now. Paint that picture of your fan, somebody looking up to you. Really think about your fans. Paint a picture of your fans. Like, what are they wearing? What kind of festivals do they go to? What kind of products do they use? Are they going to like Warped Tour? Are they going to Coachella? Where do they shop? Are they shopping at like Hot Topic? Are they shopping at Urban Outfitters or Abercrombie and Fitch? What are they? Are they happy people? Or are they talkative? Are they sad? Are they emo? Are they, maybe you're making emo music. Are they listening to hip hop a lot? Are they talking about money a lot? Like, really think about who your fans are. Now, if you scroll down, I have a little exercise. We're going to build a niche mission statement. Now, your answer should be what you're most passionate about, really doubling down on your strengths, your talents. And the goal is to find your sweet spot. And by finding your sweet spot, we can really hone in on these strengths. And by doing more of them and really pushing the bar with them, you can become a leader in your niche. And this will change over time, so don't feel like you're totally stuck to this. But you do want to have a solid grasp of what you're best at, the genre you want to start making, so that you can really crush it. But over time, as you make more, you might realize you're better at this, or you want to go in this direction because it's kind of popular and it blends with your style. Like for example, I do a lot of pop punk music, but my new music I'm working on is a bit more pop, but I still have that pop punk guitar sound, those riffs, and guitar heavy in the music. So even though I started with pop punk, I'm branching off to a little more pop infused, but guitar's still there. And my videos on YouTube, I'll still be doing pop punk covers, pop punk mashups, all that kind of stuff, because we're pretty much leveraging the genre that we're really good at and our passions, and then just building from there. So look at it that way. You're building your mountain and you just want to pick something and start there. So if you look here, it says my artist's name is blank, Day of Days, and I am blank. You're a vocalist, you're a guitar player, you're in a band, and I create blank music. I would say mine's rock, pop punk, I could say pop, even a little comedy, because I do parodies, my personality is kind of silly. Really think about a few genres that you're best at. But my main one I'd say is pop punk. I'm a guitar player and I play pop punk. And then after that, with what kind of vibe? What kind of personality traits? For me, I'd say easygoing, silly. I kind of play the underdog. I'm not afraid to make fun of myself. So I'd say kind of like silly, chill, underdog vibe. And then musicians similar to me, Let's say, Blink-182 maybe, All Time Low, 5 Seconds of Summer. And other influencers similar to me, I could say, the people I mentioned for myself in one of the questions up there. I said Rumi, he's an influencer. Jared Dines a bit. Another influencer slash musician could be the band Our Last Night. They do a lot of YouTube stuff and they're really crushing it. And by filling this out, you kind of paint a picture of yourself, your place in the world, your niche. Your pocket where you can really crush it and through the right steps become a leader in your niche. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this first lesson. I know we covered a lot, but it's super important you understand all of these things now before we get all the gears moving in the next lessons. Leave a comment below letting me and the other students know, what's your genre? What's your niche? What style are you leaning most towards? Mine's pop punk, comedy, whatever it might be. I'm excited to see what you've come up with. Alright, now I will see you guys in the next lesson. Don't worry, it's coming in a few days. Just make sure to check your email. In this lesson, I'll be showing you a really simple but really effective Facebook ad technique to start getting new fans who are interested in your music, your style, your genre. Pour in immediately. No joke. You're not going to want to miss this, so make sure to check your email for the next video in a couple days. Alright guys, I will see you then.